Welcome to Pods with Posh and Paul, a podcast designed to inspire and challenge listeners through story, experience and insight. To face adversity, learn from suffering and discover how to embrace life with a heart filled with love and gratitude. We are so thrilled to have you journey with us and can't wait to share your stories. Join Sue O'Callaghan and Joanne Webb as we disrupt the theory that everyone has perfect lives. Today's guest is author of the comical, hilarious and highly entertaining Single Woman Seeks Normal Bloke. She has just released her first book and always had a passion for writing. She has written several articles on the Facebook page called Right at the Lights, which is intended to be a thought-provoking and sometimes controversial site. However, it's only in very recent years that she's realised she can make people laugh, most often in humorous writing, which is odd. As she says, she's largely been accused of being serious throughout her life. On the back of the recent book, it reads, "Decades ago, I fancied I could write ghost and horror stories, but I never did. Instead, my working life contained all manner of non-writing activities, and nothing more than an article or two got penned over the years. Then, Facebook became a willing forum for some sarcastic and mildly disrespectful, but humorous comments and observations, and that creative itch demanded a more vigorous scratch. Today we welcome author Gill Puzey to Pods with Posh and Paul."
Hi Jill, thanks for joining us today. Both Sue and I are delighted to have you with us. We have both read the book. We have both loved the book. We have been laughing at the same parts of the book and comparing notes. It's been hilarious. Definitely a must read. Please do tell us where the inspiration came from and how the book came about.
Well, as I said, the book kind of wrote itself. I had absolutely no intention of writing a book when I started. So what I actually did was I decided to join a dating site. First time in my life, having resisted the urge for many years. Actually, no, it wasn't an urge. Just resisted it for many years. And so I decided to join. And pretty much the first thing I did was realise the kind of people I was looking at and the kind of photos I was looking at, and I just started making comments on Facebook about what I was seeing. I probably made about 5 or 6 comments, and various people were liking them and laughing, and I thought, do you know what, I'm more interested in writing these comments than I am in looking for a date. So that's kind of what I did, really, and I thought, I want to write more, this is fun. So rather than fill my Facebook page with these comments, because there's other things to say on Facebook, I set up a group. I set up a separate group and I invited people to join, and I just kept writing more and more of these comments. And as I was going along, I thought, I wonder if this could be a book. So I started compiling the comments into a Word document and just kept doing that. And then after a while, I thought, I think this could be about 1/10 of a book I've done so far, and then maybe 1/7. And eventually I thought, yeah, I think I'll continue. I think I'll actually make a book from it. And that's how it came about. So there was never any intention of writing a book.
Okay.
It just kind of evolved and became one. And I just thoroughly enjoyed doing it.
Cool. Did you actually end up going on any dates while you were doing this?
One. One very early on.
And so the comments were they actually about people that you were seeing, and then did you then embellish them a little bit? Is that kind of how it goes?
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, I mean, I did get the inspiration from photos most often, and also, of course, what they said in their profiles, and yeah, I did embellish it a little bit.
You talk about the comments, and before we came on this podcast, Joe and I were sitting here in absolute hysterics. And I have to say, we've both read the book over the weekend. We've both been texting each other to say it's absolutely hilarious. I mean, you say things like, curious, one guy has 4 photos and no 2 look like the same person. What? There's a guy whose profile picture is of him asleep with his mouth hanging wide open. Good luck with that. 33. What's a 33-year-old doing looking at my profile? Should I tell his mother? It's the land of the giants today. One is 6'5" and one is 6'7". I hope that's height, not girth. I mean, it's hilarious. Have you always been somebody that's been quite intuitive about what's going on, quite witty in your humour?
Do you know, when I was younger, I was often accused of being far too serious. And I think I probably was throughout most of my life, to be honest. But it's only in recent years that I've realised, actually, I can make people laugh. I found myself saying things sometimes, and people have laughed, and I thought, hey, did I say that? It's kind of been a surprise to me, but I think what's happened is that over the last, getting on for a decade, like many people, I've done a lot of soul searching, and I've done various therapies, become a practitioner in some of them, and I've spent a few years with a spiritual teacher, and I think all of this has kind of released something, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it's kind of taken away some barriers, taken away some resistance. So what I've ended up with is probably all that humour that was in there all the time was just suppressed by that seriousness, shall we say.
That's what I was wondering. Was it always there? Because you say things like, look, I'll date the dog. You just take the night off and get rest that you clearly need. And I'm just thinking, were you always thinking those thoughts in your head but never saying it, and now you've got the freedom to actually say it?
I'm not sure that I had those thoughts, honestly. I think it's something, well, obviously it must have been in me, but I think it's something that's only come out when, in recent years, after I've done all this stuff and kind of broken free and allowed creativity to come out, really. I always was a little bit creative, but not in this way, and it's different.
Yes, because you talk about your creativity being in drawing and crafts, don't you? And you say that you were doing a bit of blogging on Facebook originally, but it was more arty rather than writing. So do you think creativity is something that we can apply to different forms? It's not just one form that we can express ourselves.
Yes, totally. And in this case, I've found that actually writing is what I really prefer. And I've done a bit of painting, as you may know, Sue.
Yes, I do.
And various people have said to me, you must do some more painting, you must do this, you must that. And actually, I don't want to.
No.
Because I love writing so much.
Well, don't you think as well, when you're actually doing something that you love, and now you've obviously found a love of writing, it's not a chore either, is it? It's just, if you love it.
No. Yeah, quite. Yeah, I know with some writers, they'll sit down of a morning and say, I've got to write so many words and I've got to do this every day, and it's kind of a discipline for many people.
Yes.
And that's not like it is for me. I just pick it up because I love doing it.
Yeah.
And do however many words, and there we are. And it might be 2,000 in a day, it might be 500, it might be none for a week.
Yes, so you don't put yourself under any pressure.
It's definitely not sure.
Yeah. Oh, that's so cool. And I just love, the book is so funny. And I think it's because it's about real life stuff, so anybody can pick it up, and pretty much everybody can relate to it, can't they? If you've got a certain cognitive way of thinking, you can definitely pick up the book and think, oh my goodness, there is something in here for everybody, because it's just so real life, the observations.
Yeah, thank you. I've got to say, I've had my reservations about it because it is, it's quite irreverent, to be honest. And I do feel I'm insulting people quite a bit in this book. But at the same time, I'm kind of laughing at myself as well because, I think it reflects me as well as it reflects anybody else.
Of course.
It's a caricature on life, and it's actually making observations that we probably all think exactly the same way, but I think what I love about it is you have this incredible way of putting into words what I think but couldn't say. So, you say things like, is it shallow to delete somebody on the grounds that their jumper is particularly offensive or that they look like Hannibal Lecter? Okay, or Anthony Hopkins, come to think of it, that's a good reason. And then you talk about what their pictures are. A picture of a gorilla. Why exactly? These amazing observations that we would probably think, but we're just flicking through. And I have to say, I was reading your comments and I thought, I'm going to go on to Tinder because it's the easiest thing to get onto and look at profile pictures without actually writing your own profile. So I went on and I just started to see these profile pictures in such a comical way, and I was flicking through thinking, in your terms, if I was Gill, what would I be thinking? And I was thinking, a car, why a car? And then there was lots of men holding fish in the air, thinking, you wouldn't want to date a fish. And then I was thinking about your comments, you about seeing men leaning on a car, and was it their car? And if it was their car, what was lacking in their life they needed a car in the picture? If it wasn't their car, why was the car in the picture? And I just suddenly saw hundreds of profile pictures with cars, and so it's quite interesting, the stereotypical pictures that men post. And actually, women are probably not looking to date a car or a fish or a boat. They're looking to date the man. But I'm quite interested to know whether you've tried the reverse. What is it that women are posting about themselves?
I think women are way more self-critical than men. So I think that's why there'll probably be the pictures of men where they don't really look like they care, whereas women, we do care.
I wonder whether more women are photoshopping themselves. And
I did not do that. I should have done that. Damn it, missed opportunity.
You obviously didn't need to though, Jo. You've met your ideal man. He sounds lovely.
He is.
I've met him. He is lovely.
So, Gill, did you look at how women portray themselves online, or maybe how did you portray yourself?
Well, funny you should say that. I haven't made it public yet, but book 3 is actually the male perspective.
Oh.
So it's about what men see, and it's going to be my take on what the men see. I've got a few sources for that, actually.
Lovely.
A few male friends who are going to give me some information.
That's awesome.
So,
and maybe
that will be...
Will you actually maybe join as a man so you can date women and actually make the observations yourself?
I probably won't.
It'd be quite interesting.
Look, it's an idea. It's an idea, actually.
Yeah, we're trying to write the book for you.
I'd love to know the opposite.
Well, also, you do go on these dating sites and you do have to make some big choices about whether you say yes or no, because there is such an array of people on there, isn't there? And
yeah,
we live in a really small country here in New Zealand, and I've been on a dating site once, and even I was overwhelmed by the number of people. If you're in the UK with that many millions of people there, by golly, it's overwhelming, isn't it? So you've kind of got to you've got to be a bit cutthroat, or you'd be talking to everybody.
Yeah, it totally is. And when I was doing this book, I was on Zeus, because as I said in the book, mainly. And yeah, there are literally millions of people on there. Absolute crazy. And you're trawling through day after day after day. So many of them.
It's like a full-time job, isn't it, to find a date?
Yeah. Yeah. And as I said, I went on one date, and that was that. But I have ended up with 2 good friends out of the book, which is really nice.
Oh.
I'll say out of the book. 2 good friends from the dating site. So that's lovely.
So if somebody asked you whether they should join a dating site, what would you say to them?
If you want to laugh, yeah.
But I've heard lots of people get married through dating sites. So is there...
Yeah.
I mean, there's hundreds of dating sites out there. Are there dating sites that are known for marriage, and some, obviously, Tinder's got a different reputation, but do they all have different reputations? So if you want to get married, there's a certain one you might go on that's got a higher success rate. Have you done your research into the outcomes of dating sites as well?
Not so scientifically, no.
What about the other one? There's academic singles. Are there lots of academic men out there, do you think?
Difficult. When you think about percentages of the people I saw on Zeus, I would say not that many.
Really?
But right now, I'm on, because I'm in the middle of writing book 2 now, and that has an American focus.
Okay.
So I've joined 2 sites that have a lot of American men on them. I say a lot, percentage-wise a lot. But compared with Zeus, there are very few members at all.
Okay, so can I ask, so I know you're in book 2 now, you probably won't want to give too much away, but is there big differences in your observations between the American audience and the English audience? Do we do things differently?
Yeah, very much so.
Oh.
Yeah, the Americans all wear hats.
I love it. That's great. That's so funny. And Gill, tell us about the age thing. You wrote that you at one stage wanted to change your age on there, but you couldn't change your age on a dating site. It's one of the things they don't let you change. Why was it you wanted to change your age?
When I initially joined, I was taking advice from friends who joined, and they all said, take 10 years off your age. So that's what I did. Well, they said everybody does it, so I thought, well, okay then. So I made myself, well, at the time it would have been 50 rather than 60.
Mm-hmm.
And then after a while I felt a bit bad about it. I thought, all these people are asking for honesty, and I'm saying I like honesty, and here I'm lying. So what can I do? So I thought, right, I better change it. Better own up. But they wouldn't let me.
Okay.
So you weren't able to change your age on the site back to your real age?
No, you can change anything else in your profile, and you can't change your age. And they quip about it. It's anybody can change anything. Literally, what they said: anybody can change anything, but nobody can change their date of birth.
So if you've lied at the beginning, you can't then be honest.
Yeah. But then in the beginning, there's no proof that that's your age anyway. There's no way of checking.
You don't have to produce passport evidence, do you, or anything?
No, not at all. So I've no idea whether you're lying in the first place.
But then you go on in your book and you say that there were a lot of much older men. Was it older men looking at you or younger men looking at you?
Younger men looking, but then older men also lying about their age too.
Yeah, oh my goodness. You can never tell.
No, absolutely. So for your new research, for your new book, have you told the truth about your age?
I have. Oh. I've been truthful ever since then.
You just think because that whole living by your values and everything, having that icky feeling, even when you're just trying to have a bit of fun and stuff, it still just doesn't feel right, does it, if you don't tell the truth?
No.
Oh, I love it.
So, yeah, perfectly honest ever since then.
Oh, good.
I'm going to read some more comments because I think it's so funny. You say, I really don't mind whether or not they have hair. That's to say, I don't mind as long as it's not somebody else's removable hair. I really don't mind whether or not they have tattoos, but I really do mind that they have a reasonable full set of teeth. So you reckon posting a photo of yourself next to a life-size roaring lion makes you look somehow, macho, endearing, brave, maybe. But honestly, it would have been better had you used your own natural facial expression rather than trying to mimic the lion.
I love this one as well. So he was so nice to look at that I forgot to check his details. But I reckon if I practice walking with my knees slightly bent, I won't notice that he's 5'6". I just thought that was classic. Oh, you make me giggle. Oh, I love it.
Thank you.
I'm going to have to do something about this. Write in my profile that I prefer younger men. I mean, dyeing your busbiz black isn't going to make me think you're 10 years younger than your profile says you are.
Well, I'll do one more. Listen, you have a sweet smile and you look like a warm person, but may I suggest you take a look at your profile pic? I was being kind when I referred to you as Mrs. Doubtfire, who, let's be honest, was only dressed as a woman. I think you may have used a photo of your mum, ex-wife, or cleaning lady by mistake.
67, you're 87 if you're a day. Honestly, what's the point? Look, I'll date the dog. You just take the night off and get the rest you so clearly need.
Do you know what I love though as well? Because, I don't know about you, but when you joined the dating site and you were thinking about pictures to put on there, did you consciously think of trying to put your very, very best shots on there that you could?
Yes, to a degree, but I was also conscious of when you do that, you're setting yourself up for somebody being severely disappointed.
Do you think?
So, I think so.
So did you kind of try to keep it as real as possible, pictures-wise?
I put some flashing ones up and I put some real ones up.
Yeah, so they could see all aspects. Because we can all look at $1 million when we're going out for a night or something, can't we? So I suppose there's a real version of us. But that's what makes me laugh when you do go on the sites and then they maybe haven't made an effort and you think, oh, we could have done with a really nice shot. And the one where you're washing the car.
It doesn't have to be super flattering, but it does have to look as if they actually, well, A, they want to be on the site, B, they want to look attractive reasonably, and some of them just don't.
But some of them also
just look as if they don't even want to be on there.
Well, exactly, and some of them just post pictures of their dog, 6 pictures of a dog in a different angle. And there's one I looked at and it had a picture of a dog with a blue sort of outfit and hood on, and then I flicked through and there's another 5 or 6 pictures of his dog, and I thought, do you not actually want to meet somebody on here? And then there was others that just posted pictures of landscape or water, and I thought, why post anything at all? It's quite interesting. That's why I'm fascinated to know what women post.
And so when you were on the site, and obviously you actually did go on there to look for a date initially, and then it went on to writing a book,
then
which
it
is
generated, and that was the end of that.
Yeah, but when you were actually talking to people, did you? You said you've made 2 friends from the experience, which is lovely. Did you have a good level of conversation with certain people?
Sometimes.
Yeah.
I mean, with those 2 guys, yes, I did. There was never any romance, or never any romantic suggestions between us.
Yeah.
So that was unexpected but nice.
Mm-hmm.
And I did have some lengthier conversations with some people. Just never went anywhere because I simply wasn't attracted to them.
Yeah.
Just nice to chat to them sometimes.
And then do you think you can pick up the attraction through the photographs?
Only to a degree, to be fair.
Yeah. And then if you start talking and there's any spark, it may grow, you think?
I think at the end of the day, you've really got to meet somebody
It's
to see whether there's a spark, because you can't really tell otherwise. I did have a long conversation with one of them. It was about an hour and a half one evening, and I mean, it was pleasant enough, but it just wasn't.
There's no spark,
maybe. No, there was no spark, and there was kind of a. It was effort.
Yeah.
Effort to talk.
Yeah, and you want it to be effortless.
Mm.
Because it's funny in life, isn't it? Because we pick up people's like pheromones when we speak, when we are in close contact, don't we? And because we're made of energy, we pick up that energetic field, and it's quite hard to pick it up through a photograph, isn't it? And so, you know, I don't know about you, but I can meet people and I don't necessarily think they're the most attractive person in the world, but when you start to get to know them and they might have a beautiful personality, they become more and more attractive, or vice versa. It can go the other way as well. And so, that the whole dating site takes away that in a way, doesn't it? Which is quite sad.
Yes, it does, yeah. And you're right. When you meet somebody, that's when the chemistry is there or it's not. Yeah. And it really doesn't matter what somebody looks like, does it?
No, because you can definitely grow to love somebody, can't you? All their looks and quirks and all of that. Yeah.
So we've talked a lot about what's wrong with people's profile pictures. So if you had to draw a list of 5 things people should do that would really attract a woman on a site for a man, what would you say they should be posting in a profile picture?
Right. For one thing, don't wear sunglasses.
Yes, because the eyes are the key to your soul.
As I came to call them.
Yeah.
Sunglasses.
Good piece of advice. Don't wear sunglasses, chaps.
Okay,
we want to see your eyes.
Next one. Don't try and look sexy.
How do people even do that?
Just
I don't know.
You mean just naturally be sexy?
It doesn't work.
No.
Just be yourself.
Yeah.
So, a natural shot without sunglasses. Next one.
Next one. Don't wear lycra.
I don't know. It might depend on the age, though, Jill. Do you think? I mean, if we're looking at a 22-year-old man in lycra, it might be a bit different from an 80-year-old man in lycra.
Yes, it might.
But still no lycra.
Some very lycra, they're trying to
reveal.
Yes, they're trying to A, reveal, or B, show that they're sporty.
Unless they're a picture like an action shot on a bicycle racing, then don't wear lycra.
But not in a living room.
Oh, like the one that was indoors.
Yes, I think you mentioned that, didn't you?
On his bike.
Inside.
While taking a selfie. Great idea.
So no lycra. Number 4.
Oh. Let me see. Well, first of all, try and look as if you actually want to be on there, on the site, and that you're happy to be there.
Yes.
So I suppose trying to look reasonably happy, but not quite hysterical, would be a good one.
Okay.
And the last one. Last piece of
else?
advice to a man out there who's about to take a profile picture.
Get somebody else to take a picture.
Yes, I was going to say that's a really good one, isn't it? Because the angles some people take their shots, obviously they're holding the camera very, very low, looking up at their 1, 2, 3, 4 chins, and you can barely see anything but the nose, and you certainly can't see the eyes. We're interested in your eyes, guys. We love your eyes.
Yes.
Eyes are very important.
And then taking photos in mirrors, of course, it's all the same thing. So
Well, I saw one the other day just of the mirror, and there wasn't a picture of the person in the mirror or the camera in the mirror. It's just the mirror.
Oh, I love it.
I don't know. Maybe he wasn't aware that he wasn't in the picture.
Maybe he was a ghost. Who knows?
Anyway, chaps, you give us a good laugh. We've really enjoyed reading this book. So, Jo, tell us about your experience with dating sites. You say you've been on a dating site.
Well, I actually met my man through a internet app, swiping
Did you?
away. I did, and I left my second husband and vowed I would never do it. I was like, no, I'm not doing it. In fact, I don't want to meet anybody for a long time, blah, 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 blah. And so I convalesced for a while at home and recovered, and then one night a girlfriend came over and said, shall I come over for a cup of tea? And of course she brought 2 bottles of wine. So a couple of bottles of wine down, I went, oh, and I mentioned Tinder, but we ended up going on another site. She said it was different because it's the woman who makes the first move, so you still have to swipe each other, you have to match up, but the woman makes the first move. So the next morning I woke up and I went, bloody hell, I was like, I must have been drunk last night because I've got about 25 matches. Well, how did I manage to swipe 25 people a yes? And they'd kind of, obviously, maybe I'd swipe more and 25 of them had swiped me back. And so then I had to go through this rigmarole of deciding who I was going to get in touch with. And it kind of made me feel a bit giddy in a way. I was kind of quite excited, and you have this adrenaline going and you don't know what's going on because it was all brand new. So any new experience is kind of fun, isn't it? And I did just take it as fun because I wasn't really looking for anything. And then I went on a couple of dates, and one of them wasn't that great. We met for coffee and he must have been incredibly nervous, so we spent the entire hour talking about himself really, really fast, like as if he'd just taken some drugs. And I was like, whoa. And we got up at the end and I drove him back to his car and I realised he hadn't actually spoken and asked me one thing. So of course, I politely didn't go out with him again, but we were pleasant. And then another guy took me out, but he lived too far away and he was lovely, ever so sweet. That was a really nice experience. And then I met my current boyfriend and we've been seeing each other a year. So, and there was just something about, I liked his picture and I liked his eyes. It was all about, so you were absolutely right, the eyes. He took a few shots where he kind of looked happy and relaxed. He didn't look like he was making too much of an effort. He looked like a normal bloke, whatever that means. But I do like the title of your book. And then we started talking and there was a bit of spark. We could talk easy. So it's exactly what you said. There was the spark there. We could chat easy. It was totally effortless. And that's what it's been right from the beginning. And when we met, we kind of liked the look of each other. And it's just gone from there.
That's great. That's such a lovely success story.
Fabulous.
Yeah. That's amazing.
But I was literally on the site for 2 weeks. That was it. And then I came off. I know.
We're coming up to 2 years soon.
And Gill, you talk at the beginning of your book about stigma. I mean, obviously we're not all 17, 20, young 20s something. We're all slightly older. And you talk about the stigma, many years ago, the dating agencies that were around, there was a bit of a stigma involved, wasn't there, in being on a dating agency?
Yeah.
Can you tell us a bit about that?
Yeah. Well, in the old days, when I was a young person, you would only go to a dating agency you wouldn't tell anybody about it. And it would be if you hadn't found anybody anywhere else, there was nowhere else to go, and all that was left was a dating agency, and you just get quiet. And to admit that you'd gone to one you just didn't do it. But of course it's completely changed now.
And why has it changed so much?
At my age, there's still a slight stigma about it.
But don't you think in general the world changed? Like, we talk about things on social media that we would never have talked about in the past. Everything is above board now. You can literally talk about anything out there, can't you? Some people choose to, some people don't, and that's freedom of speech and everything. But it is quite nice that it's a bit more relaxed. But when you say stigma, I didn't feel like there was a stigma necessarily when I left my second husband, but I really so wanted to meet somebody the old-fashioned way. You just bump into somebody and you spark. But unfortunately, that's kind of not. It's not. The opportunities aren't there as much as they used to be to do that, are they?
No, I don't think they are, because everything's online. everything, and everybody's used to that. It's become the way of life for everybody. Well, I say everybody, but many people, and the young people. And when I say young, let's say 30 and under, have no idea that there was that stigma for the older ones.
Yeah.
A few years ago, and it's all perfectly natural for them. So why not let it be natural for us oldies?
So Jill,
I'm sorry, I should not include you as oldies. I'm not an oldie.
Jill, tell us about the concept of video profile pictures. How would that go down? When somebody's introducing themselves and talking about themselves, could you get more of an idea of what somebody's like from a video? Do you think that's something that will catch on?
You can a bit. I have seen a few actually, and it's nice. I think it's really nice. I think it's good to see that, because you can see so much more about somebody on a video. You can see how they feel about themselves. You can tell whether they're confident or not. You can see more how they look, actually.
Yeah. I'm just thinking in terms of, all those app designers out there. Give us an app for dating sites where we can post videos, and it's all introduction by video. Wouldn't that make such a difference to understanding who somebody is?
Yes, it would.
It's probably already out there, but we're just so rubbish that we don't know.
There's another book there for Jill, I think. It's researching all the different dating sites and giving them sort of out of 10 what they're good at and what they're bad at. And I think you've got lots of books inside you, Jill, haven't you?
I think I probably have.
And this is a minefield. I mean, it's just opened my eyes, and certainly when I went on today to look at Tinder to compare what you were saying, it was just so spot on. It was hysterical. So we do highly recommend this book, don't we, Jo? Because we've had a fun weekend both reading it ourselves. You saying you were laughing with Glenn and reading out comments.
It's just the easiest book to read as well, and especially because it's like, one of them ones that you can just pick up and put down and just read, like, a few comments, or you can sit there. To be fair,
that's my point.
I practically read the whole book.
You can read it from cover to cover.
You can. Or you can read it a little bit at a time.
Pick it up and dip in.
Yeah. I literally read it from cover to cover within about a day because it was so hilarious. And, I was taking it to the bathroom with me and walking around the house with my phone reading it. It was hilarious. And brushing my teeth.
Quite a good book to leave in the bathroom for visitors. To sort of pick up when you're on the loo. You could just read snippets of it and have quite a laugh.
Yeah. Well, that's what the introduction to it says on Amazon, that it's a bathroom read as well.
I love the I love the front cover and the artwork and everything with the little Cupid, and it's just fabulous.
I actually said to Jo the other day, you could see it in an airport, on the front stand of the books for sale. You could just see it. #1 bestseller, which I have to say it probably is anyway, a #1 bestseller. But the marketing side, how are you going with the marketing side? Because it's something else, isn't it? It's a new field for a first-time author, and quite difficult if you don't know social marketing and social media and how to use actually what's available to get your book out there.
Yeah. I did recently invest in an online course called Ads for Authors, which has been written and presented by author Mark Dawson. And I'm partway through that. And it's mostly to do with Facebook advertising, actually, and it's quite complex. So I'll be going through it a few times, and I probably won't actually do any advertising until I've got the second book out, so that then there'll be some read-through for people who are buying one of the books.
Yeah. And the other thing
that's the plan.
The other thing that's great about books is it just is a business card for public speaking. Have you thought about actually going and giving talks and putting yourself out there and using it as a business card, an entrance way into speaking?
It's crossed my mind, and that's all it's done so far. So no, I haven't actually done any of it. This is the first time I've actually spoken about it to you two.
Ooh, I love that. So have you got a title for your next book yet?
I have.
Are you allowed to tell us?
It's called, well, they all begin with Single Woman Seeks.
Yes.
So it's Single Woman Seeks Regular American.
Oh, I like that.
And now please tell us where we can buy your book. So where can we go to get it?
It's on Amazon. It's on Amazon in both paperback and ebook.
Perfect.
And Jill, if people want to follow your writing, have you also got a Facebook page where you're blogging?
I do have a Facebook page for my blog, but I don't often write on it. And those are more, shall we say, serious articles, thought-provoking articles, things like that. And that's called Write at the Lights. Write as in WITE Write.
Okay, Jill, it's been so lovely talking to you today. We're absolutely thrilled to have you on board, and as we both say, we're just more than excited to read the next books that are coming out.
Yeah, can't wait. So good luck writing and good luck publishing, and we will definitely be buying the next book because we love the first one so much. It was blooming hilarious. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Yes, and take care.
Thank you so much for talking to me. It's been great.
So if you're looking for a bit of light-hearted humour, do check Gill out. Get onto Amazon, buy her book, Single Woman Seeks Normal Bloke, and we will see you soon. Bye. Thanks so much for being with us today. For us to inspire others to live their magnificently imperfect life, please subscribe and leave us a 5-star review on iTunes or on your podcast app. You can also follow us on Instagram and Facebook at Pods with Posh and Paul. We can't wait for you to join us on our next episode. Love, light and peace.